All right, guys. Let me see if I can get out of the sun. Okay. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving. I am looking forward to time with my guys just to relax and enjoy some time with them. Um, couple things. Enjoy people who appreciate you. We always hear put yourself around those who are good for you. There is a point to that. There is truth in that. The other day I was at one of my jobs and this guy was drinking a lot of water. I serve people, so he's like, "Can you get me this like big thing of water?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Fill it up with ice." And so he drinks ice all day long, water all day long. And I'm like, "Wow, you drink a lot of water." And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I have to." So I'm like, um, he said he had quit drinking soda. So I'm like, "Really? How did you do that?" And he's like, "Just one day I just didn't want it. That's how I did it. I just didn't want it." So someone like that, good influence, right? So I took his example, filled up my water bottle, and I drank even more water that day because I was around him. But yet, on the other hand, Jesus was a friend to sinners, right? He was a good friend to sinners. And so, thank God he was, or we all would be going to hell, right? So, you know, I am just, you know, part of me is just like today thinking about things, and I was cleaning, and I cleaned for these people, and I'm like, are you serious? You can't even like pick up a knife off the floor. You can't even like take care of yourself. You can't even um it was bad, guys. It was bad. And of course there's like these pads on the floor for, dogs or whatever who can't be trained. And I'm just like, seriously? I mean, I am messy, but not, disgusting with a home. This stuff is disgusting. So where I'm at right now, we have a choice to say, if we don't want to go to a home, we don't have to. And so, you got business. Business is a whole different side than friendship, right? And then you got, I told my boss today, I said, I don't want to go back to this home because this was my fault. This was my fault. We were supposed to, the customer requested we put slippers on our sneakers, which I did the whole time, or take off your shoes. And I'd rather keep my sneakers on. So, anyways, we get to the end, and I'm like, okay, so everything's done, and I had taken off my slippers, like my shoe covers, and I'm like, okay, we're all set, we're all done. And then at the very last minute, we saw that a rug was not in the bathroom. So I took it upon myself to help this person and say, okay, I'll go put the rug down. And then when I did, I had forgotten to put on the shoe slippers. I just didn't think of it. So the lady took a fit, and it wasn't so much that, yes, it was my fault, which I do take accountability for stuff, but it's the way she dealt with it. Just like last week in school, this boy was just, he was playing with his blocks, and another boy was like taking his stuff, and he started yelling at him, saying, "Hey, give me back my blocks," right? And the teacher had come over and screamed at him, and I'm like, you know what? I should have caught that. I should have said something. Sorry about that. So I should have intervened right there. I was just sitting there, thinking about something. I didn't even pick that up. So I will take responsibility if I feel like something's my fault. So, it wasn't that I forgot my, covers on my shoes. It was that this lady was pretty freaking rude about it. So I told my boss today, I'm not going back there. Because you get a choice, right? You get a choice where you want to go. She's like, that's fine. She's like, I already put in a note that I'm not going back there. And that was about 5 years ago. And I said, yeah, she's got a lack of people skills. And she's like, exactly. So I can pick up the people skills pretty good, guys. And then you have unconditional love. So I was hoping to see my son today, not because I'm a mother, not because I'm enabling him, but just to be a darn good friend, right? You can be a friend to your kids. You can be like, you know what? I care about you. I love you to death, and I want to, be there for you in life, right? So I've heard all these views, this isn't even about my son. I heard all these different, beliefs and views on, all this stuff with your adult sons. And I just tend to be like, no, let's just be a friend to people, right? And then, who was it? Somebody said something today about, it was something about, I was talking to her and I'm like, there's not enough people who help each other out nowadays. And she was telling me something about, I think, something about how she thought somebody was a friend and they wouldn't help her, or something like that. Anyways, I was like, yeah, we don't help each other enough. And this lady has a friendship of like 66 years with somebody. This was a different house, guys. And I'm like, wow. So this was a really lovely lady. It was good to get to know her and clean her home. But the second house, they weren't even like thankful. They were just like, you know, you know. I usually will ask people if they need anything else before we leave, because I don't want to go back and do a reclean. So, yeah, I'm like, anything else you guys need? They just were not happy. Uh, and, the whole environment, you get a huge TV in your home, you're watching the news 24/7. Just, some people have homes that are really depressing. So, anyways, grab a life, guys, by the horns. Grab life by the horns. Live it. This second people we worked for, major disability with being majorly overweight, and I mean majorly, and it's just like, get out there, clean your home, do something, exercise, not to sound judgmental, but we are responsible for our lives, and if you're not happy and you can't like pick up after yourself a little, in your home and take care of yourself, you're not going to be happy. So our environment does matter, it does. And who we hang around with does matter to a point. And then when you hang around people who are good for you to get good habits, but then you also give back, and you're there for people who do need good examples, right? So I was talking to somebody in the homeless community, two people, and one lady gives a lot, and then another lady's like, yeah, see if you can connect me with that group, because my son had gone with a bunch of friends and they went and fed the homeless under the bridge. So we're here to help people, guys, and if we can't do that in life, I don't know what we're here for. So put yourself around good people and people who need help. That's kind of what I wanted to say today. But anyways, everyone have a good Thanksgiving. And somebody had left a post on here that, how come, why do you think universal child care is, not a good idea? And I had already talked about this and said, you can't raise your own kids yourself. One of the ladies I worked for today, a lovely lady, had decided to be, after being a teacher, a stay-at-home mom. And she had only 2 kids. And I'm like, that is lovely. Usually home care is usually better quality than a daycare. And I can tell you that from experience with seeing a lot in the schools. So, not just schools, but, seeing a son who also did daycare. So the more you invest in your kids, the more you put into something, the more you get back, usually. So just, yeah, invest in your kids. Someone also said divorce is healthy. Divorce is barbaric. Very few cases is divorce healthy. When your husband pushes you, as mine did, and throws you and pulls on you and everything, that is a situation that really wasn't healthy. Is divorce the answer to that? No. Counsel is. So whatever was bugging him, he needed to get counsel with it. So, it's something that, he already was not happy about, and he tried to say I left him in New Hampshire and came out here, but he already wasn't happy. So, can you change and be healthy in a marriage? Definitely. Anybody can change any day, right? So divorce is just a band-aid to stick on something to say that, oh, this will fix it, and it's not really solving the problem at all. So for the most part, there are a few cases, yeah, divorce is good, but it's never ever meant to be that way. Divorce is meant to be for life. I mean, marriage is meant to be for life. And divorce is very barbaric. It's very cruel. Someone has to have a hard heart to do that. And even if somebody, in the few cases where maybe divorce is needed, even then it's heartbreaking to God. God says he hates divorce. One of the few things in life that God says there's like 7 sins in Proverbs that he hates, but he also hates divorce because it breaks people. It tears people apart. It breaks their lives apart. It destroys. So divorce is usually, for the most part, not good. And I had somebody I talked to who had 2 divorces as a Christian, and I'm like, holy cow, that's a lot. That's a lot to go through. So divorce is not healthy in of itself. Whatever led up to the divorce, that needs to be solved, and that needs to become healthy, not the divorce. Okay, so that's what I got for now, guys. Thanks for joining me, and have a good Thanksgiving.